Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Rose to Row and Astrology. I am your host, Mel Rose, and today is Monday, November 11, 2024. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for spending this time with me. And thanks for checking in on your regular current astrology. I hope that wherever you are, y'all are feeling very happy and well and loved and blessed and whole. And I hope you are engaged and enjoying the changing of the seasons around you. It's one of my favorite parts of the year is to watch the landscape go through all of these changes. So I hope that is beautiful for you as well. I'm going to go ahead and get straight into the astrology today, but first I want to say please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. Say hello to me so I can say hello to you too, okay? All right, so the sun is in Scorpio, and we know that this is the time of year when we start turning within, especially here in the Northern Hemisphere where we're turning toward winter. It's autumn and we're turning toward winter. The days are getting colder, the nights are getting longer, so there's a going indoors that we kind of do around this time of year. And that is an as above, so below kind of thing. So when we're going indoors, we have to actually turn within ourselves and do some reflecting on who we are on the inside. And with Sun in Scorpio, we're reflecting on who we are on the inside in terms of how we express that out in the world in our work, social, and civic lives. Like, is the work I do an honest reflection of who I am and what I want to share with people in the world? And the moon is in Pisces, and it's a waxing gibbous moon. We have a full moon this week, friends, on Friday. That's a full moon in Taurus, and it's going to be a powerful one because Saturn is going direct that day. But we'll talk about that in a minute. The moon in Pisces is, it's a little easygoing. The moon in Pisces is pretty intuitive, and it is also a pretty emotional setting. This is a time when we can do well for ourselves to sort of relax a little bit, relax the rules a little bit, not be so rigid with ourselves and others, sort of have an allowing vibration. But with that moon in it, as a waxing gibbous, we're actually rolling forward on something. So, Pisces being the end of the zodiac, I feel like, maybe we've just gotten to a point where we've got to allow things to marinate a moment before we can get to that completion. So, whatever it is that you're cultivating, whatever it is that you're cooking up, whatever it is that you're marinating, of course we need good timing and we need to allow things to develop the way that they're going to. We just need to stay on task at this time because, of course, we want to have some accomplishment or partial accomplishment to celebrate when we come up on the full moon this Friday. So take your time, but keep rolling forward, I think is the message. So tonight, after midnight Central Standard Time, it'll be between around 12:15 and 12:25. It's a very short void, of course, before the moon moves into Aries, but that's after midnight. So moon in Pisces all day today. And then let's talk a little bit about the context that we're in, the ongoing stuff that we have going on. What's ongoing and going on at the same time? So, times are a little tough for some of us right now. We just had the election here in the United States. And, if you saw my video, you know that I feel roundly disappointed about it. And I know that I'm not alone in that. I know that there are a lot of people who feel really sort of betrayed and truly just confused, really at a loss as to how to sort of absorb that that more than half of us voted the way we did. But I've already been over that, so I just want to say, Mars opposite Pluto, there's still this tension in the air. There is still this vibration of aggression or assertiveness. There's still this vibration of like our actions just turning things inside out. Our actions having the ability to literally tear things apart. And I mean things like foundations and buildings and networks for support. Okay, so we want to be very careful about how we use our actions right now, okay, about how we get aggressive or assertive with other people or in certain situations. It's just understanding that we're a little more powerful than usual, and and it's almost like not knowing your own strength and having, not knowing that you really have the power to, explode an entire building or something like that, right? So be careful about your aggressiveness at this time. We are facing down some tough illusions. A lot of us really thought the election was going to go a different way. A lot of us would like to think that humanity is better than a lot of the terrible fighting and conflict that is going on in the world. And it's tough when you have a mind that idealizes, uh, well, like a lot of us do, that idealizes a peaceful world and a peaceful way of life where everybody gets what they need, and we can all pursue our dreams and our passions as well. And then to look around the world and say that is not the case, and I don't know how we're going to get there from here. That's facing down some tough illusions. That's facing down some dreams and idealism that are maybe not practical enough for the time being. However, along with those vibrations of aggression and having to face these illusions, we have this Sun trine Saturn energy that is like seeing the benefit of acting with restraint, seeing the benefit of attending to your responsibilities, seeing the benefit of observing boundaries and limitations. Okay, so it is a very good time to be sort of checking ourselves before we get too aggressive. It's because when we do that, when we take responsibility for ourselves and not get not sort of fly off the handle, then we will see a much more positive benefit from that than we're even aware of. Okay, so there's that, and then also in the undercurrent, we have that Jupiter sextile Chiron, which is an optimism. It is an underlying optimism for all of this stress and fighting and conflict and confusion. There is an underlying optimism that says we can find the solution. Okay, we can solve the problem. We can heal ourselves. We can heal our communities. We can heal the nation. Okay, we can have optimism. We can have faith in ourselves that these things are possible, and that is something that's with us at least through June of next year. So just understand that these two things can and do exist in the world. Like there's all this conflict, and there's war, and there's just terrible things happening in the world, and there's us trying to wake up from this illusion about how it could be so that we can deal with how it is, right? And then there's this optimism right there alongside it going, yeah, but we can do it. We can do it. We might not be able to see the way forward right now. We might not understand what the path is from here, but we can keep trying. And as long as we keep showing up for it, we're going to see the benefit of showing up for it. Okay, we're really going to thrive and do better and make good things happen when we collaborate for our collective healing. Okay, so that is the context that we're in, and here I am already at 8 minutes. Today we have the Sun in a quincunx relationship with that Jupiter sextile Chiron. So I was just talking about Jupiter sextile Chiron. That's that optimism that we can find resolution to our problems, optimism, good fortune when we seek to heal old wounds. Okay, and then the Sun is in an adjustment aspect to those two. So this would be those two, and the Sun is over here, and it's sort of points. It puts the Sun at the apex or the point of this. So that's about who we are in public, right? That's our sense of purpose in the world. It's our work, social, and civic lives, saying, okay, I'm going to have to make changes that are visible. And I think that's part of, I know personally for myself, like part of not wanting to make certain changes along the way has been like, oh, well, if I make this change, then people are going to see that I made a change. Right. So sometimes we don't want to make our changes visible. Sometimes we just want to make them in private. But then, like if you quit drinking and you go out with your friends, you're going to have to be like, I don't drink anymore. Right. So making our changes visible to others. Okay. Like like expressing that hope for resolution, expressing that hope for, an optimistic renewal of our culture, okay, of our communities. If we can express that, and that's pretty tough for a lot of people right now. It's very easy to be very pessimistic right now, but we really have to be optimistic. We really have to, work together to find a solution, okay, so that we can stop learning this particular lesson over and over and over again. And that's going to happen. We're going to stop because Pluto is leaving Capricorn this month, okay? It's just another week or so before Pluto's out of Capricorn forever. And then we'll be dealing with a whole other kind of Mars opposite Pluto vibration. It's going to be a very interesting time to be alive, okay? So today, Sun in that position of adjustment with our hope for healing and solving the problems that we all have collectively together. So the sun being our sense of purpose, it's about what we show the world, right? And we're going to have to show the world our hope and our optimism. We have to show the world the work we're willing to do to put in to find that resolution and that healing. Okay. Venus is moving on into Capricorn today as well. And when Venus is in Capricorn, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. And I find the relationship between Venus and Saturn very interesting because Venus is the lower benefic and Saturn is the higher malefic. And, Saturn represents boundaries and limitations. And Venus represents like, hey, come here, give me what I want, So they kind of work together in a tension of opposites sort of way, where Venus just wants what it wants, but Saturn only gives what it gives, right? So Venus moving on into Capricorn is a lot more practical about what we want. It makes us a little more practical about what we want. It makes us more focused on our long-term goals. It makes us more focused on cultivating the soil of our own foundations, right? It makes us more focused on our own stability and security, and hopefully on our own well-being as well, on your physical well-being. I always say this: Capricorn needs mountains to climb and problems to solve. So, if we're Venus in Capricorn, then it's not a very romantic vibration, and if anything, it might bring up, for us in our relationships, the things that we want to do to make things better, right? Again, there's that hope for resolution, there's that hope for healing. But Venus in Capricorn is going to be like, okay, well, we're going to make some changes. We're going to climb this mountain together, and we're going to live differently after this because the things that I want right now are very practical things. And so we're going to make practical progress on them, okay? So that's what's happening today. That's that Sun in adjustment with Jupiter and Chiron, and then Venus moving on into Capricorn. Tomorrow, Mercury is going to square off with Saturn. So, that's focusing in on the challenging things, okay? Eliminate distractions so that you can do the hard work. If there's something you've been putting off, like filling out or completing, you've been putting off making up that resume or bibliography or whatever it is, you really need to balancing your finances, that kind of stuff. It's a great time to focus in. If you can eliminate distractions, you can make good progress. And the thing that can be really challenging tomorrow with that Mercury square Saturn is communication with other people. So, sometimes it's better just not to try to explain yourself unless somebody asks you to, right? And then just use the simplest, kindest terms so that we don't have to, have a rancorous conversation between two people. Okay, that square can just make it a little challenging to communicate. Coming up on Thursday, Venus is going to be in adjustment with Mars. So that's what we want versus how we go and get it. And on Friday, we have that full moon in Taurus with Saturn going direct, which is going to be like, this is such a grounded and practical full moon, but it's also, it also has a potential to bring surprises because the moon is going to be with Uranus in Taurus, right there with Uranus when we have this full moon. So some surprises might arise, but then we have Saturn going direct, so it's going to be a really positive time to be thinking about what's next. With Saturn going direct, it's like all the things that we've been working on in terms of building security for ourselves are going to start rolling forward. We're going to see it from there. And then on Saturday, the sun is going to be opposite Uranus, full moon, sun opposite moon. And then the next day, Saturday. And then the next day, sun opposite Uranus, right? So sun opposite Uranus, again, surprises, look for them this weekend. Shakeups in terms of, the things that we like, love, and can't get enough of, and how we go about getting them. Supply chain issues, just our ability to access what we want can be shaken up a little bit, and we might have to make some different choices. And that is what we have for this week, my friends. Thank you so much for hanging in with me. Thank you for being here and spending this time with me. I really hope that you're feeling the optimism. I really hope that you're looking for ways to feel the optimism, because, the despair is it's too heavy to carry, and, it doesn't help us make progress. Okay. So, we know where we stand. We know where we stand, right? We're at about 50-50, but we got outvoted this time. We know where we stand, and so that is good information for helping us move forward. We know that there is a future, so let's just be optimistic and hopeful about it, and do our best, do our personal best, and do our collaborative best to bring about some sort of healing and change so that we can get back closer to being on the same page. Okay, friends, thanks for joining me. I will catch you in the next video. Mwah. See you Wednesday.